In today's video, I'm going to talk about differences in living in Bend, Oregon and Portland, Oregon. I'm going to talk about the lifestyle changes, the cost of living, the people, the weather differences. I'm going to talk about everything you need to know. So if you're thinking about moving or relocating to these areas, especially Bend, Oregon, you're going to want to stay tuned to watch this video. So before we get into this video, I want to talk about why I want to compare these two cities and why I think it's something to talk about, because every day I'm getting people calling and texting me wanting to move to Bend from either Portland or a few other areas in the country, and it's a niche community of people that are thinking about moving up here. So I kind of wanted to address some of the questions I keep getting constantly, and I think I'm a good person to answer them because I grew up in Portland. My whole childhood plus I spent there. I lived in Beaverton, Oregon, and then I moved to Bend. So I lived in Bend for 3 years now. I love it. I love the differences. There's pros and cons to living in Portland, and there's pros and cons to living in Bend. So yeah, that's the reason I want to make this video, and I hope you guys are able to get some value out of it because I know it can help make the transition or maybe answer some of your questions before we talk. So let's jump right in. If this is your first time to this channel, welcome. My name is Brett Williams. I'm a realtor with the Real Agent Now Group, and I'm really glad you're here. I really hope you get a lot of value out of this video, and if you do, please make sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you stay notified every time I post new videos. I'm trying to post 2 to 3 videos per week all about Bend and Portland, Oregon. So if you're thinking about moving to either of those areas, please make sure to hit subscribe, follow along, like this video if you like the information, and feel free to reach out to me. It's no doubt that Portland and Bend are absolutely blowing up. Oregon in general is a super popular destination from people coming all over the country. It's got a ton of natural beauty, it's got no sales tax, and it's got a pretty good cost of living compared to the rest of the nation. But today's video, I'm gonna be talking only about Bend and Portland and the differences. So the first thing I want to talk about, and something I get asked super commonly, is the cost of living between the two. So I'm going to go on the national index of cost of living, and that's at an even 100. So if you're an even 100, that means you're on average with the rest of the country. If you're above that national, and then if you're below, obviously you're below. So I'm going to start it off, and I have the data right in front of me here, and let's do this. Okay, so the overall cost of living in the nation is 100. Currently, as of right now, in 2020, Portland is at 130, and Bend is coming out slightly below at 123. So super similar overall, but it's not as linear as you might think. There are different variables that are kind of mixed up, and it's not just a similar line all the way down the list. So we're gonna run to that right now. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is groceries and food here. So if you guys are familiar with Portland and Bend and Oregon as a whole, you'll know that the people here are super into health, fitness, and eating right. So there are a lot of kind of premium markets like Whole Foods. There's a really cool market called New Seasons, and there's also Market Choice and a few other local independent chains that are in Oregon. And they definitely drive the price up because people are really into the organic farm-to-table lifestyle. So it comes in just over that national average of 100, but I mean, for the food and quality you're getting, I love it here, and I don't find it to be overly expensive, so something to consider. Okay, moving down the list, we're going quick today. So Portland is at an 85 out of 100, so it's relatively low. That's kind of the standard in Oregon, and then Bend is a little bit above that at 91. Overall, very affordable compared to the rest of the country. Healthcare here is super affordable. I don't find it to be a huge issue in terms of pricing, but that's a huge plus if you have a family or you're just really big into having good healthcare and just good doctors around you and good practices. So, but that's something I really love. I love going to the acupuncturist. I love going to the chiropractor. So there's a lot of different things I love doing, and I like that it's more affordable than other places I've lived in the country. So the next one is kind of the most expensive thing on the list, and that's housing. Obviously, Portland is a growing city, and there's a lot of people here. So out of the national average of 100, Portland is coming at about 180, and Bend is at like 190. So not too bad in terms of the cost of living differences in these two cities, but it is a little bit above the national average. You can find a good home in the 300 to 500 really easy in Bend and Portland. You just have to know who to look with. You have to have the right agent. But you can find those deals still, and then there's a huge amount of inventory. Well, I wouldn't say right now, but overall in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of different homes in the 500,000 to 700,000 range. But housing is super cool. The quality of builds here, especially the new construction, is great. The builders are awesome, so overall, not too bad. Cool, so moving right down the list, we have utilities. And utilities is something that is very important to people, especially people with larger families, and they've got kids, and they've got heat running all the time, they've got water. Overall, super competitive on a national average. We got 79 for Portland and 83 for Bend. So super low. Personally, I don't pay a lot for utilities. That's something I love. My gas and heating bill is super low every month. And I usually know what it's gonna range in the winter and summer months when I have AC or heat going, and it's still not bad. So if you're big into utilities and you wanna check into that, overall, super big pro on the list. Another reason to love Oregon. Okay, so moving on down, we have transportation. And transportation is something that is really important in Portland, but not as important as Bend. Bend has really only one bus line, and it kind of carries you from the east side of town to the west side of town, and it's really only one metro system. Whereas Portland has you have so many different things. You have the train, you have the Met, you have taxis, you have buses, you have so many different ways of getting around, but the average in Portland is at 130 out of 100, and the average in Bend is an 80. The reason there is a larger fluctuation is obviously because Portland is a larger metro area, so you're gonna have to travel farther if, for example, you're on the west side of Portland in Beaverton, and you have to travel to work. That is kind of a longer travel time, so they account for that if you don't plan on driving. And then last, you kind of have miscellaneous, and that's just some little odds and ends stuff. But you don't really have to worry about that because Bend and Portland really are exactly at that average of like 101 out of 100. So overall, the cost of living in Portland versus Bend is relatively very similar. They're all about the same down the line. Bend is a little bit more expensive in housing, and Portland's a little bit more expensive in transportation. So you have those pros and cons. But I mean, cost of living is one thing. Now I want to talk about the lifestyle changes and what to expect when living in Portland versus. So the lifestyle changes in Portland and Bend are actually pretty different. Portland overall is a great place for going to the city, enjoying a good date with your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whoever. It's great for if you have a family, you can bring them in, you can go do fun stuff in downtown Portland and around there in the parks and stuff, but there's not a ton of immediate recreational access. You have the Gorge, which is absolutely beautiful, amazing hikes, really cool opportunities if you want to learn how to boat or windsurf. There's tons of cool stuff out there, and that's only an hour and a half. You have Multnomah Falls, which is a huge destination for people that are traveling into Portland. And then you have, on the other end of the spectrum, you have Bend, and Bend, I talked about it in other videos. You are in the recreation. Bend literally is a playground. Everywhere you go, if you go 10 minutes on any side of the town, you're gonna be on a mountain bike trail, you're gonna be on a hiking trail, you're gonna be able to do everything you like in the outdoors within 10 to 30 minutes guaranteed. Overall, Bend and Portland are really cool in terms of lifestyle compared to the rest of the country. I think Portland has a ton of awesome nightlife. It's got tons of activities to do in downtown, Beaverton, Tiger, all these West Lynn. There's so many cool things. The Willamette River is right there, so you can go boat with your family, and it's only a 20-minute drive from most places. So you have that opportunity there, and then Bend is just 3 hours away, just straight down south, and you can do whatever you want. So if you live in Portland, you can literally just drive 3 hours down, do whatever you want, and if you live in Bend, well, you're in the playground. So in terms of lifestyle changes, that's kind of what you'd expect. Overall, the people are, it really ranges. The diversity is pretty good. There are sections in Portland that are super diverse, and there's sections that aren't as diverse. But if that's a worry, you can always hit me up. I think the people are really welcoming in Oregon. I've lived in other parts of the country, and I love the people. They're super passionate about it. They're super passionate, they're vocal. They're really awesome in terms of kind of creating an ecosystem and a community that is great for kids. The schools are awesome. So I love Portland's people, and I love Bend's people. I think Bend's people are a little bit more outdoor focused. They're very recreational based. They come here for that reason. And so if you kind of like that on the go, kind of quick paced outdoor lifestyle, the people here are gonna be right up your alley. I mean, I'm in a snowboard group here. I'm in a fly fishing group. I love both groups, and I've met a lot of friends and like-minded people. But overall, Oregon has amazing people, and I feel kind of biased towards that because I am an Oregonian, but overall, we're super accepting of new people, except for a few people here and there. And the last thing I want to address, because I hear it so much, is the winter. So the winter in Portland, if you've never been in the winter in Portland, it's basically one giant gray cloud. It doesn't always rain, but it's rarely sunny, and it stays in that like 40 to 55 degrees on a warm day. And you can expect that pretty much from November to about early March, and then from there it turns into an awesome spring, and the summer's beautiful. Obviously, it's super great in terms of temperature, but those winter months and into fall a little bit can be super gray. So if you rely on sunshine a lot, Bend might be a better alternative. We have snowstorms every few years. It's not really consecutive in my experience. But I mean, they're both awesome. I love the differences in them. I've lived in them both. I would prefer Bend overall because I like the sunshine in the winter. But Portland's not that bad. It's not as rainy as people say. Cool, and I know this was kind of a quick video for you guys. I really just wanted to run through the cost of living, the lifestyle changes and different stuff like that. But I hope you enjoyed it, got a little bit of value. If you have any questions or you're considering about moving or relocating these areas, please make sure just to call me, text me, email me. I literally have people every day emailing me about a bunch of these different stuff they want me to answer, tours around the area. I'm willing to do it all, so just make sure to hit me up and we'll get you on your way. So cool, that's gonna wrap up this video. Please make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified every time I post a new video. Have a great week.